Gulliver, a sombre message from Alexander Syrski. Tell us about what he's saying and perhaps the context of why he's saying it now.
Well, I think he was trying to say that those gains by the Russians weren't all that significant, but he did admit that Ukrainian forces have retreated to positions west of three villages that he mentioned in Donetsk region. One of them is Novomihailovka. I don't know if you've got a map that can show you where this is. It's southwest of Donetsk, so that's one of the prongs of the Russian attack, trying to reach the key town of Vuhledar to the southwest of their stronghold, if you like, of Donetsk. And then Alexander Syrski mentioned two villages northwest of Avdiivka, which the Russians managed to take in February. As you know, they've been pushing northwest from there ever since. Colonel Syrski admitted the village of Berdichi and one other just next to it had been taken. The Russians are saying that they've gone further than that and taken Novobakhmutivka, which is further to the northwest there. And that is an analysis that seems to be shared by some of the Western observers who are also producing their assessments of the battlefield. So very difficult situation all along the front line, not just in Donetsk region. The Commander-in-Chief also mentioned the northeast of the country, Kupiansk direction. Kupiansk is a town in Kyiv region. The Russians have apparently taken a small village to the southeast of there as well, which is inside Luhansk region, but was Ukrainian held until recently. So they're inching forward there too. And according to the Ukrainian military, they're also trying to make gains all along the southern front line, though they're not having any success there. At least that's what the Ukrainians say.
Gulliver, we were just looking at the map as you were explaining the different areas that Russians have said they're advancing on. Chasiv Yar comes up on the map as well. A lot of talk about Russia getting close to Chasiv Yar.
Chasiv Yar, there's... I meant to mention Chasiv Yar actually, because that's obviously the one to watch at the moment. If the Russians manage to take that town, they've got the high ground, very good position to be attacking the big Ukrainian-held towns of Donetsk region, Slavyansk, Kramatorsk and so on. From what I can see, they haven't advanced in recent days in Chasiv Yar, but the battle there is still going on. Of course, the Russians are trying to take as much advantage as they can of the Ukrainians' lack of ammunition, while the Ukrainians are waiting for their new Western supplies to come in. The Ukrainian military saying that the Russians have deployed huge numbers of additional troops to that offensive in Donetsk region.
That's really interesting. That explains some of my question. What is its significance? As you said, its position, it's its height on a hill. Now, also this Black Sea coast
Absolutely.
today, Mykolaiv. Tell us about what's happened there. Drone attacks hitting a hotel.
So the Ukrainians have confirmed that a hotel was hit. The Russians also said they hit a hotel and claimed that what they described as English-speaking mercenaries were staying in the hotel. Of course, the Ukrainians haven't confirmed that. The Russians often say that there are, of course, foreign fighters fighting for the Ukrainian armed forces. I think they're integrated into the Ukrainian armed forces. They're not fighting for any sort of private military company. So in that sense, they shouldn't really be called mercenaries. But we can't confirm whether the Russians' claim here is true. The Ukrainians say that there weren't any casualties, but that usually means that there weren't any civilian casualties. So whether any of the mercenaries, so-called, I should say, or the foreign fighters, if they were there, were hurt, I'm afraid I can't tell you. The Russians, what was interesting, also say that they're targeting a shipyard that's producing naval drones. The Ukrainians haven't confirmed this either, but it's obviously something that the Russians very much want to do, is to target the Ukrainians' military production facilities and also the logistics of the transport of Western supplied armour coming into Ukraine. That's why I think they have targeted areas along the south coast. This allegedly the shipyard in Mykolaiv, and it's also why in recent days they've been targeting Ukrainian railway infrastructure, because they think that's where the Western weapons are coming in, being transported by the railways.
Gulliver, great analysis as always. Great to have you back in Kyiv, our correspondent.